Love. What is love? Aside from the obvious answer of baby don't hurt me, science likes to explain it as the chemical reaction that is the result of the release of dopamine in our brains, which is also known as the happy chemicals. But there are many forms of love. Romantic love, familial love, the unconditional love you get from your pets, or the gee, I sure do love my hobbies that cost an arm and a leg and maybe also a kidney. But there is also hate, which is a very strong word, and honestly, I'm gonna swap it with minor annoyance / inconvenience, or even slight disappointment since I already have gotten you to click on this video with the clickbait thumbnail and title. So now that you are my captive audience, hello everyone, it's me the Warhammer complaining guy, Revan/Handy, destroy our wallets and make our terrible financial decisions, back with another video. Also, let's go! 7,000 YouTube subscribers. Well, that was relatively fast and now I don't know what to upgrade the end of the year vote to, and don't you dare say Warlord Titan because I already have one of those. Anyways, I would really appreciate it if you could please subscribe to my YouTube channel and maybe also like the video too if you haven't already. So I figured since I have recently been on the complaint train with a lot of GW's recent and relatively fresh past decisions, I guess it's finally time to talk about some things I actually like about Warhammer and of course some of the things I don't like much about Warhammer, because being heartfelt is hard and complaining is a lot easier to talk about. So the first thing I like about Warhammer is of course the miniatures. There's honestly no other company out there that can even come close to the quality of miniatures that GW puts out, although recently Battletech and 3D printing would beg to differ. The first thing I always tell someone that's interested in Warhammer besides trying to buy secondhand as much as possible is when selecting the army or miniatures you want to paint, always follow the rule of cool, because GW has that in spades. Want to play as really cool looking Space Knights? Then play either Dark Angels or Black Templars. Or do you like endless hordes of aliens or space bugs? Then play Tyranids. Or do you want to play or paint some of the goofiest little guys? Then play Orcs. Do you dig giant robots? Because we dig giant robots. Then play either Chaos Knights, Imperial Knights, or if you want to go full send and destroy your bank account, then get a Warlord Titan. Not only does 40k have cool miniatures, but so does Legion Imperialis, although on a smaller scale, but so too does Age of Sigmar more recently. Because you better believe I'm gonna pick up some of the funny rats in a month or two after the hype has died down, and also because not many people like push to fit models too. But I really gotta hand it to the designers of some of the miniatures GW has recently put out, except for maybe Captain Underpants. No idea what GW is thinking with that one, and also the clown car getting past testing. I mean, some of the minis just withstand the test of time, like the OG Box Knot, the Land Raider, Lehman Russ, and also
it is the Bane Blade!
If money wasn't an issue, and believe me, it's becoming more of an issue with each year that passes, I would honestly have more armies than I already do, but then the pile of shame would just get worse. But there are just so many miniatures out there where anytime I see it, I just go, ah, wow, that. Either for one of my many armies or just because I think it would be a cool miniature to paint and add to my collection, which leads me to my first minor annoyance I have with Warhammer. Some of you may have found that animation to be kind of familiar. Editing is a lie, and mostly because I have a 2-week production schedule to keep to until I get burned out or I get sick. This is also kind of more of a minor annoyance / nitpick of mine. Don't get me wrong, I love painting as much as the next guy, and it's called painting because that's what the artist feels, but sometimes the minis GW makes go a bit overboard with the amount of detail they have. Case in point, the Knight Cenobium, Alaris Terminators, or some of the newer Sigmar minis. Because I'm kind of getting tired of painting for hours, and right when I'm about to finish, I realized I missed a tiny little detail. So now I need to carefully paint around all my previous work and pray to the God Emperor I don't f up or spill the sacred Nolan oil. I also do sometimes have complaints about the lack of detail, especially with Primaris Space Marines, since a lot of them are just intercessors or Gravis Marines with a different gun that honestly could have been an upgrade sprue. And I know each army has its own unique flavors of Space Marines, but some of them either are really old and look goofy next to the newer stuff, or they just don't exist. This cookie cutter problem might get solved when I can finally use my airbrush whenever that is, so then I can do some fancy stuff. But I also always tell people when they ask, can I just use an airbrush instead of learning how to use a paintbrush? And the answer is no. You need to know the fundamentals of painting with a brush because an airbrush is just another tool in your kit. And also because some of these details are too small to use with an airbrush unless you want to go through masking tape hell. But painting is honestly a necessary evil for this hobby. Some don't like it since the hobbying part is honestly more fun. Now we get to possibly my favorite part of Warhammer, which is the hobbying side. When you participate in the hobby of Warhammer, you pick up a lot, and I mean a lot of skills along the way. These can all be translated to pretty much any other hobby that involves the assembly and painting of plastic or resin crack, like say gunpla and model railroading, which is honestly a way cheaper hobby at this point than Warhammer, which is really surprising. Aside from stating the obvious, nothing is more fun than building a really cool miniature you look forward to painting, or learning how to solder lights or even sometimes motors for your larger miniatures to make your minis unique, or have dynamic poses because mono pose is unfortunately becoming the norm now. Then there's also what I'm kinda known for besides complaining on the internet, which is magnetizing everything, even things that don't need to be, because I don't want to buy more minis to have all the weapon options. You also learn things like how different materials like plastic or resin react to certain products or glues, which tools are the best for each job, the different forms of fixing up models so they don't have an ugly gaps like sprue goo, green stuff, or milliput. You can even learn how to magnetize your minis in an effort to save as much money as possible, because it's really easy once you do it a few times, and believe me when I say it, it really is not that hard. I also have a background in model railroading, so some of these skills I already had before I started Warhammer, but I know a lot of us have a hard time basing our miniatures, but luckily when the scale of the miniatures start to increase, you also learn the appropriate scale of the environment that our miniatures occupy. Unless of course it's a Manta or Warlord Titan, then that is the environment. You also learn things like color theory, for which colors complement each other, how to weather a miniature to make it look like it belongs in the grimdark setting we all know and love. Heck, just learning the different paint brands is a huge part of the hobby, because once you leave the island that is the Citadel paint range, your horizons and experience painting different colors can drastically improve. We all eventually even learn how to kit bash something using multiple kits or just the extra bits you have lying around, because by the God Emperor, I'm getting my money's worth out of the plastic crack I just bought, since sometimes minis either get retired or there just really isn't a mini to use as our favorite character or unit, so we all eventually just say,
fine. I'll do it myself.
Again, I'm totally not salty that Tyberos got thrown into Legends after I spent over 60 hours painting and assembling him. Okay guys, this is the part of the video where I get some audience interaction to help boost it to the almighty YouTube algorithm. So maybe drop a like and also subscribe to my channel please, because it's only been 3 weeks. Would have been 2 weeks if I didn't feel like crap after returning from my mini vacation. And also this is what I got since you guessed it, I found a local game store to visit, but yeah, this posted a channel has grown considerably since then. But please let me know in the comments down below, what are the things you like and dislike about Warhammer? It can be either the miniatures, the hobby, or even expressing your dislike for the rising cost of miniatures that frankly feels like they're just copy pasting CAD models with a slightly different pose and weapon. Anyways, on to the next topic of complaining some more.
Hello, I like money. Money.
Okay, I think a lot of you already saw this coming, but yeah, the rising cost of Warhammer is getting a bit worrying with each year that passes. I already expressed it in this video right here, how the prices are getting a bit out of control, and let's just say the recent quarterly report is not helping GW's case that much, because holy shit is GW raking in that cash, with not just the miniatures, but with the codexes and surprisingly the merchandising, which is actually one of the things I kind of forgot to mention in my video complaining about Warhammer prices. And all of you in the last video that said stop complaining about the prices and just stop buying Warhammer along with other smart and dumbass remarks, I like Warhammer. And guess what? Most of the stuff that I have now, I would not be able to afford even half of it if I bought it with today's prices, especially the Warlord Titan with how much it costs nowadays just to get everything. So if you want to know more about my opinions of the rising cost to even be in this hobby, because honestly, drugs would be cheaper and so are model trains at this point. So check out this video right here in the cards, or just go to my channel. It's literally the second or third most popular video on my channel, unless at some point this one right here overtakes it, since it honestly looks like it might eventually. Anyways, I figured let's leave this video off on a positive note. The Warhammer community. It's great. Not only do you guys make this post of a channel a
great success,
Warhammer is honestly one of the most welcoming hobbies out there. No other hobby is filled with so many people that are willing to help others with any questions they may have, be it how to assemble or magnetize models, teaching each other how to paint miniatures with all the things we ourselves have learned over the years. There's also tons of people out there willing to lore dump all of us that don't either have the time to read a novel or an omnibus, or just trying to rope in another friend to play Warhammer with us and understand what all the hype is about. The community is honestly what makes Warhammer, well, Warhammer. Because even if GW were to suddenly go under, even though I don't think that'll happen anytime soon, the community will always be there to keep Warhammer alive. I mean, it's what the Battletech community did for decades. Whether it be throwing dice at a local game store, making 3D prints for all until GW's lawyers decide to say no fun allowed, or even making Warhammer videos or shit posts and posting them on the internet. So Warhammer will honestly never really die. Anyways, as always, thank you once again for watching this video. Don't forget, if you want to support the channel, simply leaving a comment and hitting the like and subscribe button helps more than you think. And also maybe join my Discord server too, so I can see all your cool miniatures. But becoming a channel member also helps too, since it allows me to make up bullshit excuses to my parents about why I totally need to get whatever miniature you guys vote for at the end of the year. Anyways, I have to go make more terrible financial decisions, so I will see you all in the next video. And remember, being poor is a choice.